Alright, hey guys, so another Humble Monthly has been released. I'll go through the games for the previous month in a moment, but first let's start with the early unlocks for next month, which include Earth Defense Force 4.1, Warhammer Vermintide Collector's Edition, along with Cultist Simulator. So I know these games aren't for everyone, but personally I am very happy with the selection here. Earth Defense Force 4.1 does include all the DLC as well, so you're going to get 18 DLC packs, which is worth like over $50, which is fantastic. If you're not familiar with Earth Defense Force, it is a third-person shooter where aliens have invaded Earth and you're part of the military trying to defend against the aliens. You can play with I think up to 4 players online in co-op, and you go through a bunch of different missions. There's all sorts of crazy creatures, giant monsters, boss battles, robots, and mech suits. It's a very Japanese style game, but I think it looks fantastic and it's been on my wish list for quite some time, so I'm very happy to see Earth Defense Force as an early unlock. And then there's Warhammer Vermintide 2, the Collector's Edition, which unfortunately does not include the expansions for the game, so keep that in mind. But in previous videos, I've talked about how I loved the original Vermintide. It's very similar to Left 4 Dead, where you team up with up to 4 players and you go through various missions and you fight through hordes of creatures, and there's various boss fights and so forth. There's a lot of replayability. You get loot at the end of each mission, and then it helps you progress into harder difficulties and so forth. But honestly, Vermintide is a fantastic game, especially if you have friends to play with. If you're fans of games like Killing Floor or Left 4 Dead, I think you'll enjoy Vermintide. Some great graphics as well. And then the Cultist Simulator, I really don't know too much about this game. It seems like some sort of mystery card game. I don't think it's going to be too appealing to most people out there, but if you're into card games, you might want to check it out. But overall, the early unlocks, for me at least, are fantastic. And if you're interested in subscribing to the Humble Monthly, if it's your first time, make sure you use my referral link in the description below. You'll be helping me out. But it's basically $12 a month to subscribe. It's like a random crate of games each month, and usually you get a ton of value. As you can see here, most monthlies have over $200 worth of games and a lot of AAA games and some really, really good indie games as well. You also get access to the Humble Trove, which gives you 60 plus DRM free games that you can download at any time. You also get 10% off the Humble Store. The Humble Store has sales all the time and it stacks with the sales, so you can save a lot of money if you're looking to pick up some Steam games. So with the early unlocks out of the way, let's go over the previous month's monthly, which included $214 worth of games. I'm actually very impressed with this monthly and really liked what they chose. So let's go over each game individually. We have Sniper Elite 3, which is a third-person stealth shooter. I played through this entire game on my channel. It's about 8 to 9 hours worth of content. Great level design, a very neat cinematic slow-motion bullet cam that shows your bullet penetrating through the enemy's bones and organs, which is extremely satisfying to watch. Overall, I'm a big fan of the Sniper Elite series. Scrolling down, there's Rock of Ages 2, Bigger and Bolder. This was on my wishlist for quite some time as I really enjoyed the previous game. It's essentially a physics-based tower defense game where you roll this giant boulder down a slope and cause all sorts of crazy destruction. It has a very silly and humorous storyline, and it also includes multiplayer, and I really think this game would be really fun to play with friends online. Moving on, we have Yakuza 0, which of course was an early unlock. I've heard nothing but good things about this game. It's an open world action beat 'em up with over 30 hours worth of content. Great gameplay, great story, nice graphics, and overall just a very solid experience. And then we have The Division. I'm sure most people have already heard of The Division. It's a third-person shooter that you play online. You can team up with up to 4 friends if you like. It's sort of like an MMO, I guess, where you're going through various missions and you're looking for loot, but the gameplay is pretty solid and the graphics are very nice. You also get the survival expansion, pretty cool if you're into The Division. Scrolling down, we have Full Metal Furies. I unfortunately did not hear about this game until seeing it in the monthly, but it was made by the same people who created Rogue Legacy, which is one of my all-time most favorite roguelike games. But Full Metal Fury is a fantastic co-op action RPG that you can play alone or up to 4 players online. It's action-packed, great gameplay, insane boss fights, and really just a fun game to play online with friends. I can't wait to try this out with a buddy of mine. A game called Arrow. I've never seen this game before, but it's a rhythm game, and just from watching the trailer, it looks very appealing with some very thrilling levels, a great soundtrack, and some very large-scale bosses. So this might be a really fun game to try out. And then there's Bleed 2. This was also on my wishlist for quite some time. time. This is a very fast-paced action arcade style shooter with loads of bosses and really just a fun game for those of you who are into bullet hell style shooters. Finally, we have Super Daryl Deluxe. This is a 2D action RPG with a very unique style and a lot of humorous characters and dialogue. You can also play it in local co-op, which is pretty cool. And at the moment on the Steam store, this game has 100% positive reviews, which is pretty impressive. There's not that many reviews, but it's kind of crazy that there hasn't been a single negative review for those who have purchased it on the Steam store. Other games that I'm not really going to go over, there's Rapture Rejects, which was an early unlock. It doesn't have very good reviews, and it's some sort of battle royale type game, but just based off the reviews alone, I don't think it's worth mentioning. And then we have the Humble Original, which is called After Hours. It's a full motion video game about a girl going through borderline personality disorder. Apparently she was molested as a child, so that might be an emotional game for those of you who are interested in that. But overall, the rest of the games looked absolutely fantastic. At least in my opinion, these type of games, especially the indie games, are some high quality and some really nice stuff, and I'm really glad to finally get Yakuza 0, and some of the other games look fantastic as well. So that's it for this video. Make sure you guys use my referral link in the description below if you are planning on subscribing to the Humble Monthly. Again, it's only $12 a month. I think it's a fantastic service, and it really helps me out, so thank you for those of you who do decide to use my referral links on these bundle videos. That's about it for this one. Let me know in the comments below what you think about the early unlocks for next month and what you think about the games that were released for the previous month. Overall, I thought it was fantastic. There's a couple things that could have been better. First off, Warhammer Vermintide, the Collector's Edition, doesn't include the expansions. I really wish they would have just added the DLC to the early unlock. And also in the previous month, the Division was a Uplay key. Really wish that was a Steam key instead of Uplay. I just prefer having the Steam community features. But beyond that, I just think they are doing a fantastic job with these monthlies. So thanks for watching and have a nice day.